6 o'clock, we'll call the meeting to order. Roll call, please.
Supervisor Gens,
Here.
Supervisor Nudo,
Here.
Supervisor Brookhouse,
Here.
Supervisor Gama,
Here.
Supervisor Gashke,
Here.
Supervisor Geertsen,
Here.
Supervisor Kirby. Here. And Yig member Ethan.
Here. Okay. First up is Kaba. That's perfect timing. That's what we call a Terry Rose. You slide them right at the last minute, right in.
How are all of you? Good evening.
Good, good.
Thank you so much for having us today. We really appreciate it. All right. For those of you who don't know me, my name is Nicole Riff. I'm president of the Kenosha Area Business Alliance. We are the economic development organization for Kenosha County. So first of all, I'm out of breath walking up those stairs. We had an ambulance in Jockey, which is why we're a little late.
Oh.
Apologies.
Okay.
Everything's fine. Anyway. First of all, just want to express our gratitude for the partnership with Kenosha County. I've been here now a little over 2 years. Can't believe how quickly it's gone by, and I'm just so grateful for the opportunity to work with all of you. You know, we've had a lot of engagements over the last year, similar to the last couple of years, but really would like to thank the county executive, Chairman Getz, the county board, and the county staff for all of your support. So grateful for all of that. I would say we continue to be very heavily focused on corporate attraction. And that's been interesting for us the last year. You know, there's been a lot of changes. You can catch my breath, I'm sorry.
Take a breath. You want a water? You want a water?
I'm just out of breath, I'm so sorry. And then I talk so fast. So,
That's fine, you're fine.
thank you, appreciate
Take your
it.
time. You have about 30 seconds.
Take a deep breath.
Do my yoga breathing. All right, so yeah, continue to have a very strong corporate attraction pipeline. You know, last year we had a couple of major announcements with Lilly coming into the market. You've got Smurfit Westrock. We continue to see a strong pipeline, but I think it's been interesting this year with what's going on at the federal government level. The pipeline is not quite as strong as previous years, and we would attribute a lot of that to uncertainty. There are a lot of companies that had big projects that they were thinking about doing, and now they're debating whether or not they'll move forward. That being said, we still continue to get a lot of new projects. I would say the expansion side has been even stronger for us than the last few years. We've had a lot of major expansions with Belkin Plastics. So that's a great example of a company that we had used the high impact fund. God, I'm like really out of breath. I'm so sorry. Heart is like just racing. It's not just I'm nervous. Sorry. Sorry. So Brock, how are you? I'm so sorry.
You're like the catcher going out to visit the pitcher to stall the game.
I jump in.
Hey, Brock, you didn't go in the singles this year.
I did
No?
not tell him.
But, Tommy Watt came in second. So, we're talking about Bocci, Italian American Bocci. And then we found out the mayor was Italian, so we inducted the mayor as a member.
All right, I'm gonna have to call you out. Let's go. Get on with the meeting.
Not wasting your time. Again, I'm so sorry. So anyway, again, high impact fund continues to be a major tool for us. So we've used that to attract 4 companies just in the last 2 years since I've been here. You've heard about Smurfit Westrock and Concept Labs. They are both open, operational, and have exceeded their job targets already. Really exciting. So these are companies that relocated operations from Illinois to here and then also had major expansions. So high impact, major part of that. We have 2 other projects that are in the pipeline. They are moving forward, but haven't been announced yet. So that's 4 projects in 2 years. And again, critical tool. As I mentioned earlier, continue to see a lot of expansions, and Belkin Plastics is a Canadian company we had worked with 3, 4, 5 years ago to come here to Pleasant Prairie. They've been doing so great that they've decided to expand their operations here. So we help them with a revolving loan fund for that. We're also working with Centresis, which is locally grown company that's in a growing industry. Michael Copper is an entrepreneur, so we've supported them on a pretty significant expansion there. So really excited that our existing business community continues to grow and continues to invest here based on this great business climate and our great talent. You know, something that we continue to really focus on also is talent. So with all these new businesses coming in, our existing businesses growing, like Uline, adding another headquarters building and the largest warehouse in Wisconsin, which is amazing. We really are focused on making sure that things are as easy for them as possible, and that we're trying to address this talent deficit that we're going to be coming into now with this demographic cliff that we're facing. So continue to work on life balance. We'll be pursuing some new state funding to really broaden out those efforts. And then we're doing a lot when it comes to upskilling programming with our higher ed and K through 12 partners. So we're always having conversations with our businesses about what are your needs, what are the deficiencies that you have, what can we be doing with partners here locally to help you build upon that. Something that is new that we've been talking about that we're going to try next year is we started Life Balance Locals. And that was an idea I had for our Life Balance program where we have people who are really ambassadors for the community from all walks of life, all generations. They could have been born and raised here. They could have moved here as an adult or been boomerangs who left and came back. So they're ambassadors now for the community, and we're going to start doing programming around that brand where we're bringing in people who are new to the community to get to know them and to hear about what's going on in the community and get connected. We want people to be sticky here. And we're hearing that our businesses are bringing a lot of people in from out of the market, and Lily is a great example of that. So we're doing whatever we possibly can to make those people stay here because that's good for our school districts, it's good for our property taxes, it's good for the community as a whole. So continue to focus on that. And I would say that Lily has been a really good case study of doing everything that CABA does well. So we have a generational opportunity with Eli Lilly to build a new industry cluster here in Kenosha County in the pharmaceutical industry. So this is all new to us. Nexus had a relatively small operation. Lilly is planning to have at least 750 employees, and they're investing almost $4 billion in Kenosha County. They're a company that's very community minded. So we've helped them with planning their global day of service. So they're really integrated with the Boys and Girls Club. We've helped them making connections in the community, help them with talent attraction and life balance. And then I would say the most interesting area and where I've been spending a lot of my time is building out relationships with higher ed for them. So I brought in UW-Madison, MSOE, UW-Milwaukee, Gateway, Parkside, and Carthage to host an all-day event with them where they talked about all their programming, what Lily needs, and now they're each putting together proposals of how they're going to be supporting Lily, and we're facilitating all of that, which is really cool. So it's just a good example of that concierge service that we provide. I would say Lily, similar to a lot of companies, is dealing with housing. So they're bringing all these people in from all over the country, and people are having a hard time finding housing, and it's very expensive, to the point that they're saying it's more expensive than these high cost of living areas they're coming from. So we need to solve that. So I do want to just give a big shout out and thanks to Savannah Meyer at UW Extension and then Andy Bueller in the planning department. We've all been working really closely together on this housing task force, which has been going for a year as of next week, which is really exciting. So we've had a lot of progress there. Tonight, Jason, Savannah, and Andy are actually facilitating a program for elected officials to learn more about zoning when it comes to housing. It's something that is an extension resource, and they're coming here and putting on this program. So we continue to do a lot in that space. Brock and Jason and I are working on developing some type of financial program that we hopefully will roll out next year for housing. And that is something where we will be able to inject some cash to incent housing development and make sure that that then gets passed on to the ultimate either buyer or renter. So we're having a lot of one-on-one meetings with different housing developers, builders, construction companies, you name it, to figure out where's the right place to do that. So again, really continuing to focus on ensuring that our business community is doing well here, not just bringing in new businesses, even though that's also important. And I would say, you know, that is countywide. It's not just east of the I. We have a lot going on in Salem Lakes. I would say we continue to market that heavily. We now have that on all the real estate sites. So we're getting a lot of looks for that and a lot of interest, and continue to work with the Salem community there. Obviously, there's been some change in staff, but we're ensuring that there's continuity there. So I would say, you know, overall, just really excited about the year to come. We've had a great previous year. We cannot do any of this without you, without your financial support, but even more importantly, I would say the staff support and the elected official support. One of the best parts of my business is that I can tell any business coming in here that we have a very active and supportive business community, and everybody's very friendly to business. So thank you to all of you for being that. And obviously the bond rating also is something that really is important to our businesses, understanding that there's fiscal stability here and that our county is really managing funds well, really, you know, is something that's important to our business community. So again, just really grateful for the support financially, but also, you know, just from a staff and leadership level, really, really grateful. Glad to answer any questions now that I've caught my breath a little. This is gonna go down as an embarrassing night for me, so I apologize.
Supervisor Gearston.
Mr. Chairman, I would move approval of the CABA budget.
It's been moved by Supervisor Gearston, seconded by Supervisor Gama. Any questions or comments? Would you would you come to our finance meeting and talk about that housing task force? And I'd like to learn a little more about
Absolutely.
that.
I'd
So
be glad to.
if you could put that on our notes for her to come in and talk to our finance committee about that. Supervisor Brookhouse, you had your hand up.
Yeah. Would it be correct to say there's a lot of pressure on our properties in the county? There's a lot of development, there's a lot of solar farms coming in, various other data centers, et cetera. What is your perspective, kind of looking backwards? And did you project this correctly, and what do you see going forward?
It's a really good question. It's something that we're trying to think about a lot. And I will say, that the forefathers, or everyone that came before me, which is a lot of people that are here today, has given that a lot of thought. And we are in a really strong position because of that. I would say the growth agreement that happened between Paris, Summers, and Kenosha, 5-6 years ago, that really contemplated a lot of this. And, if you look at the Southeastern Wisconsin Regional Planning Commission and their recommendations of kind of developing around hubs instead of just kind of sporadically all over the place, you're able to preserve farmland and you're able to connect to services that exist. So it's more cost effective. And I would say that Kenosha County and our municipalities together have planned really well for that. So it's been interesting, just as an example, you look at Microsoft, which purchased that land on the northwest corner of, is it 94, right by the Marsh Cheese Castle?
Yeah.
And that's an area that was planned to come into the city. And so all of that was already agreed upon. It's in the sewer service area. It's right next to major development coming from Uline, right on the freeway. And so it was a really easy process. Microsoft came in and the land was attached to the city, rezoned, and added data centers as a use in that zoning area in 2 months, which that's unheard of in any community, let alone, the city of Kenosha. It's really a positive step forward. But part of it is because that was all decided years ago. Everybody agreed on that. Whereas on the flip side, you're probably not going to see like a massive data center project or something like that in the western part of the county because the infrastructure is not there. And also, is that the best use of that land? Probably not. There's a reason to preserve farmland and the agrarian role behind that. So I think the county has been very thoughtful in its planning, and that is the municipalities as well. They've been very thoughtful. It's a really good question.
And if you were looking in your crystal ball going forward, what do you see based on this rapid trajectory of development?
Yeah, another really great question. I think that we need to think about how we'll serve all of that, right? So this talent piece is a big part of it. I would say that Kenosha County will continue to grow rapidly because Kenosha County positioned itself to do that in a very intentional fashion. Having that unique location between Chicago and Milwaukee, that will continue to fill out. But, I would say we'll continue to see a lot of advanced manufacturing. I'm hopeful that we will start to see more in that pharmaceutical manufacturing space, whether it's additional pharmaceutical manufacturers or it's supply chain for them, because obviously a Lilly is going to be a magnet for that. And we in theory are going to be developing workforce programs to support that industry. We're seeing more and more corporate headquarters when it comes to manufacturers put an operation in Kenosha County and they say, wow, this is somewhere I want to be. This is really working here. And then they move their headquarters to be part of it. So that's another area we're focused on. We'll always see supply chain and logistics because of the location that we're in. But I think we'll continue to grow, but I think we'll grow in the right way where it will be still along that 94 corridor, so we're maximizing the availability to the labor and also to the sewer service area and all the infrastructure, but also intentional development in the western part of the county, with housing being a really important part of all that.
Thank you.
Really good questions.
Other questions, comments? Seeing none, all those in favor?
Aye.
Any opposed? That passes. Thank you.
Thank you very much. I promise to take the elevator next time I come here. I'm so sorry. Thank you so much.
Discussion of Bochi help you catch your breath.
It did.
County.
I got ruled out of order, so I made the ultimate sacrifice.
Thank you, sir. Thank you very much.
Evening, everyone. I'm the Kenosha County Clerk, Reggie Willigora. We looked over my budget. It's pretty simple. And just gonna highlight just a few things. I don't want to take up too much of your time. We have a few increases throughout, some of the line items here. That is mostly due to the upcoming 2026 election cycle, where we will have 4 elections. That is the increase on overtime, up to 4,200, and the increase in the per diem for the canvas board. We have a few decreases, the increase in office supply, and of course, election supply will go up quite a bit, having the 4 elections, and being, both the April election and the general election are going to draw a lot of voters, because of what's on the ballot. And another increase on the publications, because in 24, in a 4-year cycle, I was over budget, just under 17,000. Publications are all the same. It's just, prices go up. And so I'm just boosting that one up. Mileage and travel, increasing that some, reimbursement per mile is higher. Also, I'd just like to add that, for delivery of ballots, something my office has gone to is having all the ballots delivered to the one location at the city. And Amanda and I deliver the ballots to the municipalities. That way we are cutting out, a middleman. We're going directly, getting our ballots from the printer that day, brought down by a courier with no stops, no sitting overnight, nowhere, a truck lot or anything like that. And we get them to the clerks the same day. So that's worked out very well. And I feel good about that. I have an increase on staff development. Our registration and dues have gone up. I also am working on continued training for my staff to be able to carry on. It's a good office to work in. They're a lot younger than me. I want them to stay there. I have a great team right now. So the more education I can get for them, the investment in them, in the staff, is worth the little bit extra I'm asking, and it's showing. It's definitely showing. And I've gone down on a few items that I could, reducing the machine and equipment line item. Brought that down quite a bit, $2,500 down. I have no special requests at this time for that area, so I brought that down. Publications, other publications I brought down $200, and then when we're looking at revenue, we're doing very well. Marriage license, we are currently ahead. We are almost at the number we had at the end of 2024. So that's good news. And passports, again, we are very close to what we had at the end of 24 for right now. So things are going well in the clerk's office. I don't have a lot of requests, and I don't have much to say unless you have questions.
Supervisor Gearston.
Mr. Chairman, I move approval of the county clerk's budget.
It's been moved by Supervisor Gearston, seconded by Supervisor Nudo. Questions or comments? My OCD is kicking in and I have to ask this. Okay. You have publications and then right under it, you have other publications. Why not just put them all in publications?
Because they are separated out between election publications. And then this one where I decreased it 200, that is strictly for like the dog licensing publications. And that way it's easier to keep track of what we're spending on election.
Got it. Thank you. That explains it. Any other questions or comments? Seeing none, all those in favor?
Aye.
Any opposed? Thank you.
Thanks, guys.
Here we go, good old IT.
Good evening.
Oh, they're on the same line. Okay, all right.
My name is Scott Schutze, Director of the Division of Land Information. I'd like to thank you all for the opportunity to review the proposed land information budget for 2026. Land information has been hard at work throughout 2025 on a number of projects related to mapping real property listing. Notable projects are the LiDAR data acquisition, which took place in the spring. We are going to be receiving the deliverables for that very soon. And then we also wrapped up the next generation 911 project, for which mapping is a major component back in the first quarter of this year. Looking forward to 2026, we're hoping to fly some imagery and get new orthophotos for the entirety of the county. We're hoping to do that with all of the counties in the southeast part of the state as part of the sewer fact region. And then we're also going to be developing a number of applications and dashboards that for mapping based data sets that will benefit all departments, divisions, and the public. We're very proud of our accomplishments year to date, and we look forward to many additional contributions into 2026 and beyond. Those accomplishments are really due to our staff and their dedication to their work. So looking at our operational budget on page 344, you will notice under the personnel portion, we do have some standard increases due to labor costs that affect all departments. Contractually, I'd like to focus on other professional services because I know if I don't, Supervisor Kirby will like to add.
Got it,
Words for.
We have one contract there,
You're getting a reputation.
I guess.
that is in the amount of $58,925. That is for the maintenance of our monumentation system throughout the county.
Okay.
So we have 1,200 monuments buried in the ground throughout the county, and that's the basis for every property survey and all development that happens. And those services are provided by the Regional Planning Commission as our county surveyor. And we are in the third year of incremental 1% increases in that cost. Under supplies, we are proposing no changes for 2026. And then on revenue on page 345, we did make an adjustment to our land information systems fee. We reduced that by $12,000 after discussing with finance and looking at the trending of the deeds that are being reported in the registered deeds office. On the capital side of the budget, you will notice that we are asking for the $88,500 for the bonding. That is for the imagery acquisition that we're hoping to fly in the spring. And then there's just two other items I'd like to touch upon. Number one, we were made aware in early October that we received a $20,000 Wisconsin Land Information Program grant. Those funds must be used for land records projects by state statute. And we did not have that information at the time we submitted our initial budget. So it's not reflected in the budget before you, but I will bring that to you in January or February to insert into our budget at that time. The last thing I would like to mention is something that's also not very evident in this line item budget. And that is an HR request that we are putting in, and that is for an assistant director position in our division. Later in 2026, it is my intent to retire from the county. And we are asking for this position for succession planning purposes. Our hope is to hire that position in April and have 6 months of training. And then it would hopefully be filled in November after I leave in October. And with that, that's a quick look at my budget. I'd be happy to answer any questions any of you may have.
Supervisor Kirsten.
Mr. Chairman, I would move approval of the land information budget.
It's been moved by Supervisor Kirsten, seconded by Supervisor Kirby. Questions or comments? Do you feel that we need an assistant position other than for succession planning? I mean, does the amount of work, I mean, because once you retire and that person takes over, we're gonna be paying an assistant director. So, I mean, can you enlighten me on that? What is your thought process?
We are only requesting this for a 6-month period, only for 2026. It would not, that, because
It won't carry forward?
It will not carry
Okay,
forward.
that makes me feel good. Okay. Yeah, cause I looked and I saw the increase in FTEs and I pointed to Patty and then I looked at the wages and I'm like, that's not really 1.5 FTE. So that explains everything. So thank you for that. That's a great, I believe in succession planning. I think that's a great idea. So.
And we tried really hard to make it a levy neutral proposition.
That's,
And, with the help of finance and HR, done a good job. And
I would agree. Any other questions or comments? Seeing none, all those in favor? Any opposed? Thank you.
thank you.
Now, IT.
Well,
I'll get worked out. And so we might have to cut something. It's such a huge budget. She's getting all worked out.
I'm Mike Passionelli, CIO for Kenosha County IT. Thank you for the opportunity to present the IT budgets. I'd like to start out by saying that this was a hard budget for me on a couple of levels. It was hard because this year, every time I turned around, it seemed like we were getting costs higher than we expected, and we worked real hard to find ways to minimize the impact of those cost increases. We worked with purchasing, we talked to our peers, we found alternative purchasing vehicles. I think we were successful in minimizing the impact of those costs. And it was also hard because as I was pulling together this presentation, I saw I had 70 minutes allocated to me to talk about stuff. And I was trying to figure out how I was going to fill up all that time, so I was only half successful.
See, I like you.
With that said, I'd like to move on to the handout that I have and talk about the security updates, just a brief update on security. NIST, CISA, all these security authorities, they recommend a layered approach when you look at security. No single control stops every attack. We layer prevention, detection, and recovery controls so if one fails, we have other ones that help us recover. Over the last few years, we have built up a number of these layers. All our workstations have EDR and AV installed on them. We're scanning our equipment for outdated software. We have firewalls in place to control and block network traffic. We follow strong password rules with multi-factor authentication. We have backups, both tape and cloud backups of our environment. So we have multiple options for recovery. There's always room for improvement, and we'll continue that iterative process of reviewing what we're doing and asking ourselves, how can we do things better? I don't want to spend too much time on security, but if anyone has any questions on what we're doing, I'll be happy to answer anything. All right, moving on to the next one, budget highlights. I was going to focus on areas that typically have impact to the IT budget. That's data processing, other professional services, and capital. If you go to page 334 in the budget book, you can see that we have increases in personnel costs, data processing, and motor vehicle maintenance. All of these are offset by a decrease in other professional services. The motor vehicle maintenance is a pretty large jump percentage wise. I'm being told that we need to get new tires and brakes for our van. That's where that one's coming from. We're looking at an increase in our capital costs, and that is mostly due to cost increases that we're seeing when we're buying new equipment or engaging for professional services for implementation. Moving on to talk specifically about data processing. I want to talk about this because this one heavily influences the services that we provide. The majority of the county licenses, renewals, clouds, services, subscriptions, those all get charged to our data processing line item. When you look at our website, that's being charged to data processing. When you look at your email, that's being charged to data processing. You look at your W-2 in the HR system, that's being charged to data processing. I said at the beginning that this was a hard budget, and on average, what we've been seeing is a 16% increase for renewal of services that we currently have. Last year, we saw about a 10% increase. So we're seeing this trend of costs still coming in up. So we saw increases ranging anywhere from 1% for our Microsoft licenses to 93% for our VMware licenses. That's where we landed on it. The initial quotes that we got from these is, like for Microsoft, for example, we were planning a 10% increase when that enterprise agreement was up for renewal. The first quote we got from it was a 9% increase, and we sat down with them, negotiated with them, identified alternative contracts that we could purchase from, and we were able to increase some of the license services that we had with Microsoft while also only seeing a 1% increase in our overall cost of that Microsoft agreement. Same thing for the VMware. That was coming in at, like, I want to say it was like 150% increase is what the initial quote was. And we worked with them to get that down to that 19% increase. So I wanted to really stress that every renewal that we receive, we're pushing back and we're saying, trying to find ways to save money. And whether that's looking at, can we consolidate services? Can we find alternative licensing, by either dropping down our license level, or, can we find different contracts to purchase off of? We're trying to find ways to save money. Not only did we minimize the impact that we had with some of those renewals, but we were also able to advance some of our services. So I wanted to look at some of the new requests that we have in this. One of those being the data security posture management. So when I talked about a layered approach to security, this layer is, for this software, specifically focused on data security, or securing our data. The first rule about security is you can't secure what you don't know. So that's why we inventory our hardware. That's why we inventory our endpoints. That's why we inventory our software. We currently don't have a way to inventory our data. So back in the day, someone would work on bringing up a Word document or Excel document, they'd work on it, they'd save it to their desktop. And that's all great and good, except, if your desktop crashes, all that work that you had is lost. So we have people saving that information to the network now. We have 45 terabytes of storage on the network with over 8 million documents on there across the entire county. There's no way for my team to know what is on those documents, whether it's HIPAA data, CJIS data, PII. We just don't have the manpower bandwidth to be able to look at all that stuff and see that. That's where this software comes in. It crawls our network, it looks at those documents, it uses AI to identify where sensitive information is. It then takes it and looks at who has access to those documents and identifies if those documents are being overshared and lets us know so that we can fix that. It then can also apply rules against those documents. So if we had, let's say, a document that has HIPAA data on it, we don't want that to be emailed outside of our environment unencrypted. So it has the capability of identifying that kind of stuff and stopping it. And then it also takes a step further of it conducts monitoring on these type of documents, where if a user that normally looks at a couple dozen documents in a day, suddenly starting looking at thousands of documents, it will flag that as a security incident that needs to be followed up by a person looking at it. That monitoring is done 24/7, which is huge for us because we don't have the bandwidth to have someone monitoring our environment 24/7 on my team. So knowing that someone is actively looking for these alerts and is able to reach out to us at 4 a.m. on a Saturday to let us know that something weird is going on, that is very beneficial to us. Moving on to the highway shop inventory work order system. This is a capital project, so you'll see it again later on. But this is highways is looking for something to track equipment orders, maintain shop inventory, set up preventive maintenance schedules, and report on historic data. They currently do all that stuff through a paper process today. Looking at AI, AI is a hot topic right now. That's not changing anytime soon. There's people are using ChatGPT, Copilot, Gemini, those type of products. So we need to be able to provide our staff a responsible way to use these type of generative AI tools. We want tools that still give people the benefits of using something like a ChatGPT, but able to put a wrapper around that so that if someone tries putting something like sensitive information in it, it blocks that and notifies us so that we can educate the employee that you shouldn't be putting that type of stuff in these type of tools. That kind of covers the data processing stuff that we have. I can move on to other professional services. Other professional services, we use this to help augment our daily operations. We have a couple contractor team members that we use to get daily activity or daily work done in a timely manner. Daily work done in a timely manner. So operational type work in a timely manner. We also use this to engage people who have specialized skill sets that we just don't have in-house. So for example, if we are looking to improve a particular business process in our ERP system, we'll engage a contractor that has experience in that to help us get that type of stuff in place. This year, we also worked with the budget team to evaluate one of our contracted system administrator roles to see if there would be any cost savings converting that role to an FTE position. This position supports a lot of the activities that I mentioned from the layers of security section that we've been growing out over the last couple of years. This person supports our backup processes. This person supports our server patches. This person supports our daily server administration and helps with incident response. Turnover for this role takes about 12 months to get someone educated and up to speed in our environment so that they are operating efficiently. The increase that you see in the personnel costs is from converting this contractor role. As you can see, there is a cost savings retaining this role as an FTE as opposed to keep him as a contractor. I don't have any questions on other professional services, or I can move on to capital discussion. Talking about capital, similar to previous years, we started the process by requesting input from all the departments and divisions for new IT requests. Before presenting the request to the ITSC, we had about 2.7 billion in requests for capital projects. After the ITSC, we brought that request down to 1.7 million. 60% of those requests make up the top 5. That's tech refresh, the security cameras, and the wireless access points, which are all life cycle related type requests. The highways inventory system and the court annotation system are new items for our environment. If you jump to the appendix at the end of the budget book, page 558 for digital, I'll walk through some of the bigger project request items. I wasn't going to go project by project, but I can if you guys want me to. At a high level
for that, Supervisor Gears?
I didn't.
I did not.
Calm doesn't have any requests, so there's nothing to look at there. Human Services has a small project for the medical examiner, and Finance is looking for enhancements to the ERP system. Those would be like dashboards, workflows, and stuff like that. The big items are on the countywide infrastructure, which are mostly our life cycle refresh type items, things that are aging out and need to be replaced. First item is the county boardroom AV. We're looking at refreshing the TVs upstairs, the projector, the cameras, and then also the control unit that controls the cameras. So that's what we're looking at, updating for the AV equipment in the board. Security cameras, this is to replace the downtown campus exterior cameras. So that would be the courthouse, public, KCAB, pretrial, public safety building, and the parking garage, just the external cameras. We've gradually been adding cameras, without really going back and replacing them like we should have. The downtown campus has the oldest cameras that we have in our environment. If you look at them, you can see that the image isn't quite what you would expect for today's camera systems. We're trying to do something a little different with the cameras that we're looking at replacing with this project. So unlike our traditional cameras, we're looking at a cloud solution for this upgrade, which gives us a number of advantages that we would have over our current camera system. Currently, our cameras should be replaced about every 5 to 6 years. We have 131 days of video storage per camera that is streamed and stored on 5 local video camera servers. Those servers, because of the volume and space required to store video footage, are not being backed up currently. If one of those servers completely fails, the video footage that would be on that server would be lost. A cloud solution that we're looking at includes a 10-year warranty for the cameras, meaning that if anything happens to the camera, the vendor will just replace it with a new one. It also includes the video retention requirements that we need, and the video is backed up by the vendor. So we don't have to worry about the backup issues with it. It also includes something that we don't have right now, which is AI capabilities to make investigation and retention significantly faster. So this happened, for example, we had this happen a couple of years ago where we had somebody that ran through the downtown campus area heading towards the train yard, and we were asked to provide some footage following that. It took us days to look at all the different camera footages, find the specific ones that had this person on the camera, export that out, and provide a timeline for what people were looking for. With the AI capabilities, what we could do is we could log into the video portal, type in, hey, show me all the video footage during this time period of someone wearing a white coat and having a red duffel bag, and it'll just pop up all the different clips that you have that meet that criteria. And it'll take something that took us days to minutes to provide the same information. Moving on to the security camera server. Regardless of the downtown camera project, we have 2 servers that need to be replaced. These servers are replaced about every 5 years. The hard drives are under constant load because these cameras are recording 24/7. We need to stay on top of the server replacements because we don't want to have a hard drive failure happen on those. Moving on to the network switches, we have 8 switches that are due to be replaced. These are higher quality switches that are used to facilitate the connection between our buildings. So it's sitting at that building level for connection. Printers, we have 19 printers scheduled to be replaced next year. This year we replaced 41 printers. It wasn't a 1-for-1 replace that we did, but as we were looking at our printer replacement schedule, we looked at printers and utilization around the ones that we're replacing, and we were able to reduce and eliminate a number of printers while we were also replacing with new ones. So while it wasn't a 1-for-1 replacement, we did take 41 printers and either upgraded them or removed them from our environment. Also, after 2026, we won't have any printers older than 2020 deployed in our environment, which is pretty big because I'm pretty sure there's a printer out of Human Services that I worked on when I first started working here in 2001.
A quarter century.
Yeah.
And
we got our
still
money.
chugging along.
We got our money's worth out of it for sure. Tech refresh, we're replacing about 300 workstations. We have about 1,200 workstations in our environment. We're looking at trying to replace about 300 every year to meet our 4 to 5 year life cycle goals for those. We are finally catching up to a leveled out replacement schedule for our workstations. And then wireless access points. We have about 200 wireless access points deployed across the county. They're all about 9 years old and they're due for replacement. Moving on to law enforcement on page 10. The big ones on here are annotator system for the courtroom. We currently have one of these deployed in branch 3. This system puts touch screens by the judge, by the witness, by the defense, and by the prosecution. You can display a piece of evidence on these touch screens. You can then mark it up, and then everyone can see the markup, including the jury. You can then print out what you marked up on the screen for record keeping. The ceremonial courtroom is planned to get one of these systems as part of that project next year. And I suspect over the next several years, I think we'll see this probably added to all the courtrooms at some point. The other big one is the replacement PCS for control at detentions and pretrial. The control room has a big video screen, video wall that they show a number of cameras feeds on it, and that's so they can help. That's so they can see who they're moving around when they're locking and unlocking doors. Those machines need to get replaced. To drive all those video feeds, you need kind of a computer on it to do that. Moving on to public works on page 11. The big one on there is the shop inventory work order system. I talked about this in data processing. Again, highways is looking for something to track equipment orders, maintain shop inventory, set up preventive maintenance schedules, and report on historic data. This is to get the system implemented. The $20,000 there is the operating costs for the subscription because it's a cloud service they're looking at. And then the last item would be the page 14 IT contractor support. This is specifically to help us with implementations. We increased it slightly to accommodate the cost increases we're seeing when we're engaging vendors for professional services. And that's what I have.
Supervisor Kirsten.
Thank you, Mr. Chairman. I would move approval of the information technology budget. And if I get a second, I'll ask a question.
A move by Supervisor Kirsten, seconded by Supervisor Kirby. Supervisor Kirsten, you have the floor.
Thank you, Mr. Chairman. You mentioned the ITSC, and I just want to be sure the committee knows we have an Information Technology Steering Committee, and who serves on that committee?
It's all the department heads that are serving on that.
The department heads?
Yep.
Is there anyone external?
Currently, we do not have
Okay.
any expert.
But all the department heads are represented on that steering committee. Okay, thank you. That answers my question.
Supervisor Nordigan.
Thank you, Mr. Chair. I just had a question on the highway shop floor work order system. It was $121,000 for the software implementation and all that. And this is plus $20,000. Is that an annual fee of $20,000?
That's correct. That would be an annual fee of $20,000 because it is cloud services that we would be looking at implementing.
So have we done you might not have, but we've done a study whether that $20,000 a year is justified. Are they spending that much on whatever they're doing now or more?
Oh,
Is it a loss?
I'm sure they're not spending that much. With the paper process,
Yeah.
I'm sure it's very manual.
Yeah.
For what they're doing, obviously. What we would be doing, because since the way that the budget process works is we'll get the request in for what they're looking for. We'll then reach out to a couple vendors just to get an idea of what the cost might be for something like that. When we get to actually doing this, we'll do an RFP to see
Okay, so
what comes back for us that we're asking
estimate
to do.
based off their knowledge of
Correct,
one or two systems.
correct. So,
Yeah, I'm just wondering if, hey, I'm great, it's great with automation, but it's gotta make financial sense to do it. If it's and it cost us $5,000 a year, we're make $20,000 a year just to keep the system going. It might not be the most financially astute thing to do, but again, just as an awareness to it, take a look at that. Thank you.
Sure. Any other questions or comments? So when I look at the contractual number here in your presentation, you basically said that all these things were going into data processing costs. Is that where the contractual number comes, or like on the first page of the budget book, it's like 300 and on page 33, I'm looking at 3,491,000 for contractual.
Easier for, maybe if I refer to Barna and how some of that stuff's rolled up, but that's the data processing, that's the hardware repair, that's the other professional services, telecommunications, motor vehicle and office maintenance.
So that's that rolled into that.
Yep.
Okay. Okay. One last question. If, let's say hypothetically Supervisor Kirby got an email, could we figure out a way for the cloud to just tell her what that email is?
You mean like summarizing it?
Yeah, like in my head, like if I got an email, just tell them. So I
don't think we're there yet.
okay, all right. I just wanted to throw that out there. It's something we could look forward to. Okay.
Yeah, we have to get our tips first.
I'm just throwing it out there, you know. All right. Any other questions or comments? Thank you. It's been moved. All those in favor?
Aye.
Any opposed? That passes. Thank you.
Thank you, appreciate it.
I appreciate the thought when I asked that question. You're really thinking about it.
No, we're gonna look at all the human services.
Well, I don't know, it would be AI that would summarize.
Yeah, I thought of that, but then I thought.
Okay, at this point, we'll take a 5-minute recess. All right, we're all here now. What? Yeah, the gang's all here. Let's fire away.
One cookie for me?
So I'm here to present the Human Services, budget for 2026. We are coming in on the first page, we are coming in at a levy, increase of just under 1.4 million or 6.33% in total. Our county FTEs, we're looking for an increase of 4.9 and personnel is an increase of just over $1 million. Our levy percentage of funding has decreased from 19.48% to 18% in 2026. With that, we can start with Brookside Care Center. So Brookside Care Center, a few of the main items for the 2026 budget. We do have in here a $500,000 levy give back. We have some succession planning for a couple of retirements, one for the Director of Nursing and one for the Medical Records Supervisor. There is a request for a 1.0 Compliance and Education Coordinator at an E9. For $108,000. A request for a Resident Services Manager 1.0 at an E10 level. This position will actually replace the Willowbrook manager, and you'll see that in the Willowbrook budget, a reduction for that. But they'll be back up to the administrator and have oversight over Willowbrook. Then you will see the LPN's pay grade change from an NE9 to an NE10. Holiday incentive pay for pooled employees. Then in this budget, we did change the census, so we are budgeting 144 for 2026, up from 136 in 2025. We do have a 1.0 for a maintenance tech that was approved in 2024 with the census increase, and a 1.0 for an environmental services worker as well, approved in the 2024 budget with a census increase. For Brookside's budget, we would be adding just under 1.8 million to the reserves with the $500,000 levy give back. And it would turn the negative balance into a positive balance estimated at $450,000 at the end of 2026. This budget was approved unanimously by the Brookside Board of Trustees on October 13th. And I will entertain any questions.
Supervisor Nudo?
I'm gonna ask you a question that I asked many times, so was pleased that the respondent satisfied with that. But just to make sure, because I've been asking every other person here, where we moved from 136 to 144 in the projected plan, which you tell everyone the reason.
Yes. So we have been, Brookside has been ramping up since, the staffing issues and COVID, and we've been up to 146, 145, so we feel like 144 is still a conservative number.
Which we're right now, we're really over the 144 right now.
Right, our average is a little bit under 144, but we were in the 130s in the beginning of the year.
Right.
It's still overcoming. Yep.
Are we gonna approve this, make a motion to approve this?
Second. Been moved by Supervisor Nudo, seconded by Supervisor Kirsten. So what does the last 6 months of average look like for the census?
For the census,
Yeah. So you said you started in the 130s.
August 31st.
so we were 147.4, 146, 145, so we're definitely up in those mid 140s.
And we're seeing that, we're feeling that trend's gonna continue. Cause I mean, to say conservative with one less than what we've been doing is not that conservative. So, I mean, 145 to 144.
So we've been building up, so it's been taking time to build up. We changed the short-term beds into long-term beds. We've been seeing, good positive results of that. And believe we're projecting a 2.9 million surplus for 2025. So yeah, I feel comfortable with the 144.
Yeah, I mean, I've been watching it and I've been seeing you ramp up and seeing what's been going on there and that's great. I just want to make sure it's the same thing with everything that I mean, marshals, inmates and everything. I like to make sure our numbers are where we think they're gonna be, so. But I know that you've been ramping it up and you guys doing a great job there, so. All right. Any other questions or concerns? All right, we have a motion on the table. All those in favor? Any opposed? That passes.
The next division is Willowbrook, our 24-bed assisted living facility. That is on page 5. So this is where you will see the reduction that I talked about of the 1.0 Willowbrook manager. So replacing that with the resident services manager. This budget, we are retaining the 23.5 census that we budgeted at for 2025. And with this budget, there is no rate increase for the private pay rooms. And we will be projected to have 120,000 profit added to the reserve account. And again, this will put the proprietary fund into a positive balance of 450,000 at the end of 2026 projected. This budget was approved by the Board of Trustees on October 13th, 2025, and I will entertain any questions.
Supervisor Nudo.
I'll make a motion to approve it.
Second by Supervisor Nudo, seconded by Supervisor Gearston. So when you eliminated the Willowbrook manager, what was the thought process in that?
I'll let,
Yeah.
Linda.
So, I don't have a backup for myself, inevitably. So it's not just succession planning, but it's allowing somebody else to know my job in case anything did happen to me. Or if I was out of the office or anything, somebody's able to fill in. So the goal would be for them to, obtain their, license for administrator as well, but they would also continue to oversee.
Okay, so is Willowbrook tied to Brookside in that the staff can go back and forth or? I mean, have somebody over here now overseeing Willowbrook, what's the thought process?
So,
I understand succession planning and I like the idea, so,
well.
but I'm just trying to get an idea. I was just throwing it out there that I, you know.
Step in and do my job, so I'm protecting Brookside and the county. But, yes, so it is connected, obviously physically, but to have somebody have the capability to, you know, have their fingers on both, it's not an issue at all. Technically, I oversee the entire campus, so even though you're physically on one side of the building, and yes, we have the manager of Willowbrook over there, they're able to kind of have the know of all of it.
Thank you.
Mhm.
Any other questions or comments on Willowbrook? Seeing none, all those in favor?
Aye.
Any opposed? That passes. Thank you.
The next division is the Office of the Director on page 6. For the Office of the Director, we are looking for a levy increase of 107,000 or 12.4%. 56,000 of this is in the staff recruitment and retention. 26,000 of that being the annual increase and medical insurance change of increase of 26,000. And then the other thing I didn't talk about in the beginning, we will be moving to the new building hopefully mid 2026. So we do have that built into this budget.
What do you mean, hopefully?
Well, I don't know what the timeline is. We have 6 months built into this budget, so the increase to the Office of the Director for the building rent is an increase of just under 32,000. And any questions on Office of the Director?
Supervisor Nudo.
Well, I put a question about the director's pay. I'll make a motion to approve.
It's been moved by Supervisor Nudo, seconded by Supervisor Geertzting. Any questions or comments? Seeing none, all those in favor?
Aye.
Any opposed? That passes.
All right, the next division is the Division of Children and Family Services on page 7. For this division, we are looking for a levy decrease of 558,000 or 5.04%. There is a half FTE in this budget, and this was a position that was approved in 2025 mid-year. So this is just the other half of that. The other change we've done in this division is our funding source of comprehensive community services. It's a fully funded program with the state covering the match from the federal. We are budgeting in there. Historically, we've only budgeted we didn't budget for the vendor, the services. We only did the service facilitation, but we do pay for the services, but we also get reimbursed the services. So we are adding that into the budget. So that's why you see the big swing of the 4 million additional revenue and the 3.2 million of additional expense.
Yeah, that's highlighted. Can you run through that again? Yeah, that was all little.
Yes. So comprehensive community services is a behavioral health service. The one in DCFS is for children and families. And on this program, these services are covered by the federal government 60%. This program specifically, the state covers the 40% match that the federal government requires. So it's 100% funded. We contract out the service facilitation, the people who set up the appointments with the service providers. The service providers we pay, but we also get the revenue. We bill for that right away. We never have put that in the budget. We only had the service facilitation portion in the budget, and now we're just adding that into the budget. The revenue and the expense.
So this is an increase of the 2 million or 4 million.
Yes, 4 million
Okay.
to revenue and 3.2 million to expense.
All right. Cause are we gonna hit this revenue? Now you explained how. All right.
Yeah,
Very good.
we hit that revenue and sometimes more.
Okay.
Mhm.
Thank you.
The next big item in DCFS is the court-ordered placements. So we are looking for a decrease in that section of 1.3 million. And if you look on page 8, that will show the different types of placements and where this decrease is lying. So overall, our number of kids, actually, we have increased 26, an average 26 per day. And 35 of that is in the foster care program. And then you will see in the long-term detention section towards the bottom, we have a decrease of kids from 7 to 2, and that's a decrease of 1.2 million. Our corrections rate has gone down significantly with the state budget. So we did have 1,300 for 2025. We have dropped that down to $750. We've also increased the number of kids in there from 3 to 5. So that's a decrease of just under 55,000. And then, of course, Racine County has their new facility that has opened up. We have a negotiated rate of 1.1 thousand with them. And we have increased the number of kids from 2 to 3.5, and that's an increase of 750,000. Those are the big items in that section. Any questions on placements?
Supervisor Kirsten.
Mr. Chairman, I move approval of the Division of Children and Family Service budget.
Been moved by Supervisor Kirsten, seconded by Supervisor Nudo. Where are we with that one long-term one out in New Jersey? Did we have that?
He's now the adult. This time.
Okay.
Under family care, so he's out of our.
When did that happen? Earlier this year or?
Yeah, middle of the year.
I mean, cause we're seeing reductions here in those placements and, I mean, we never know when something might hit like that.
Correct.
So, you know, we have nothing on the radar, so we're comfortable bringing these numbers down by that much.
Yes.
Did I'll get that? Okay. All right. Supervisor, Vice Chair Gaschke.
You mentioned the new facility in Racine, the new youth facility, and a negotiated rate we have with them. Do we have like beds on reserve with them, or is it just a negotiated rate? How does that work exactly?
It's beds on reserve. So we
Okay,
have 2
yeah.
beds on reserve with them right now.
And we foresee that continuing into the future with them?
We're hopeful, yes,
Okay,
because it was at a reduced rate when we reserved the beds, so we're hoping that continues.
thank you.
From what I understand, they're like a regional hub for that, right? Racine for the juvenile stuff, didn't,
Yes, sir. It's
So-
type 2 correctional facility versus a type 1 correctional facility, which are run by the state. And that is how the state did some statute change a number of years ago to encourage these facilities to be built. Racine is our closest, of course, to us. And right now, I think the only other one, there might be one going up or in process in Dane County, and then Milwaukee will have to also build one.
right? So I mean, to piggyback on that, I mean, I think they're gonna always be available to us because we're a regional, we're always gonna have some option to go there.
Yes.
Okay. Thank you. Any other questions or comments? We have a motion on the floor. All those in favor? Any opposed? Thank you.
The next section we have is Division of Workforce Development on page 9. So for this division, we are looking for a levy increase of 195,000 or 17.2%. We do have an additional request of a 1.0 economic support lead trainer at an NE9. This position is a position we currently have that we share with Racine County. So this will put it actually in their budget as a full-time. And we have a couple of funding reductions. The Workforce Innovation Opportunity Act, Rapid Response, and Windows to Work. We just reduced the revenue and the expense just to be based more on projections, but they're 1-for-1, so a zero levy impact. The IM consortium with Racine, we increased that 400,000, but the revenue as well is there, so that's a zero levy impact. And then you will see the building rent, the increase for Division of Workforce Development for that was just under 50,000. Questions on workforce development?
Supervisor Nudo, it's been moved by Supervisor Nudo, seconded by Supervisor Gearston. Any questions or comments? Supervisor Kirby.
And I'm not sure if this is the right time to do it, but I did want to propose an amendment to this budget. Is this the time for that or?
Sure.
Okay. So kind of given the cancellation of a lot of the federal funds that are going on right now to our food pantries, and the fact that we're able to come up with 40K of additional revenue, in the clerk of courts budget, I wanted to propose that we add an additional $20,000 to the Sheriff's Community Fund, with $10,000 going to the Sharing Center and $10,000 going to the Shalom Center. And I can explain my reasoning.
We have a motion on the
sorry.
floor by Supervisor Kirby to add 10,000 to each of those two institutions. Is there a second? Seconded by Supervisor Gama. You have the floor, Supervisor Kirby.
Okay. So I just kind of wanted to go over my reasoning. I do know a little bit more about the Sharing Center because I know Sharon personally. But I know they've lost about $10,000 in federal grant funding. And that's not including the loss of food programs like the local farming program that provides fresh vegetables. If you go back, and this isn't accounting for inflation either. If you go back to 2014, $40,000 bought $40,000 worth of food in 2014. That same $40,000 buys about $29,000 worth of food today, just because of inflation. I'm definitely concerned because I think we're seeing poverty rates on the rise. I think we're seeing, even without this shutdown, we are seeing people that are struggling more because their families don't have enough money to buy the food they need. So I really feel like this is a good use of county funds. And because this would be budget neutral, it wouldn't negatively impact the levy. I yield.
All right, any questions or comments on the amendment? Supervisor Poole.
Which line item are you specifically talking about?
So this would go, I believe, yes.
That section 4, it's the Shares Community Fund.
Mhm.
I don't know, so right there, we just have the levy change. I don't know, how much is in there, do you know?
Here, maybe do a quick
I'm
math.
sorry.
So I can tell you what we fund this year that we put into the budget for next year. So Shalom Center's at 100,000. Sharing Center's at 40,000. Hotel vouchers for the homeless are at 30,000. That goes to Kenosha Human Development Services. Racine Kenosha Vocational Ministry gets $30,300 to help with people reentering into our community. And Women's and Children's Horizons gets $202,358. So those are the figures that we have this year that are currently in the budget for 26.
There are proposed for 2026.
Yes.
Okay. Supervisor Poole, do you have any other further questions? You still have the floor.
Said it was levy neutral, how would that?
Because we were able to come up with $40,000 in additional revenue from the sorry.
Clerk report.
I'm trying to say the county clerk. I knew that wasn't the right word. Because she was able to find $40,000 in additional revenue, this would not negatively impact the budget. It would be an offset to that.
Thanks.
Was still an additional 20,000 going into.
It is.
reduction.
Yeah.
I mean, we still have 20, but, any other questions or comments on this? She brought this idea to me and I kind of like this idea. I'm not one to just spend money because we have extra, but when people come to us and they need some help, I really think that it's important that we step up, even if it's $10,000. I think that's an important thing to do. So I'll be supporting it. Supervisor Nordigan.
Thank you, Mr. Chair. I encourage, Finance Committee to support this as well. I went and visited the Sharing Center as, the other two supervisors, of which I don't think, Supervisor Ness is here. And, anyway, they do a terrific job. They have been doing, and long before the government shut down, middle of the summer when I went, all the people they serve has just gone up and up and up and up and up. And I think they also lost Milwaukee as well.
Yes.
That's important as well. So, just out of how there's nothing they did wrong. It's just how things changed in funding. So I think this is a terrific use of county money, because anyone, although I'm sure people here won't go up there, but you're also talking about the Sharing Center, and it's to them as well. It will benefit, it will definitely benefit people out in the western part of the county for sure, and I'm sure it's will on the east. Thank you, Mr. Chair.
Any other questions or comments? Supervisor Nudo?
Just that, how much did you say was for the old thing? I don't know, mention bunch of numbers, 10,000 for this, 200 for this, whatever. What's the total? You have the total there? Sorry.
Oh. This is like.
Yeah.
What's that?
Oh, so 200,000.
What?
Yeah.
And the other thing, I believe.
That ain't right. That is.
Well, that's not including women's and children's. They aren't
Oh,
part of the shares, but they're part of what we give to people that are in need.
Okay.
So,
Mhm.
yeah.
I mean, my brain's not a calculator, but I knew it.
which one was 200 and some?
Yeah,
Yeah, I believe one was 200.
By
and
itself,
some.
yeah.
So we're talking
But
about.
that really doesn't
Well,
fall
I mean,
under
it's
this
money
share.
there. And, my other question actually, whatever comment would be Supervisor Nardi, you said this benefits the people on the other side of 94.
Well, the Sharing Center does, we just,
Yeah.
the social.
Shalom gets the east.
On the east side, or anybody want to go back and forth, go back. They'll benefit anyone that wants it.
that's why I suggested that she also include the Shalom Center for 10, so that
Mhm.
we can be helping people east and west. It's not an east and west
I
thing.
just wanted to bring that up because there was a couple of times with some supervisor from the west side that he wanted to do something because he always benefited the east side. So now it should takes her up. But that's what I said.
We're a non-side committee.
Just a comment.
Okay.
My other comment is, I'm gonna go for it because it's something that we need. And I'm gonna vote for it because I believe that we need it. And not because we found the extra 40,000 and we can keep the lady down. As I said before, if there's something that we need, I'm not worried about the lady going up. Whether it stays 2.98 or it goes up at 3.01. I don't care. I'm gonna vote for it because I think it's a good cause and it's worth to do it. But not for the other reason, not to keep the levy down.
Supervisor Gearston?
Thank you, Mr. Chairman, through the chair to Tammy. And with Supervisor Coole's question, I'm looking at page 177, purchase service programs. Is that where that would go? 20,000, that 8,248,000?
Most likely, yes. It's probably in the police services.
Is that correct? Patty or Barna?
I would defer that to.
To Tammy? Okay. So,
Is that in the DWD budget?
yes, it's
Yeah, so that's where we have.
workforce development, page 177, purchase service account 571770. Right now, we have 8,248,539 there, and we would add 20,000 to that. And it shows it up on the board.
Yes, so it is the 571770. And currently we have in the 2025 adopted budget, 220,000 in there, proposed
For these,
222,500, and yeah, we would increase that then 20,000. Yeah.
but that answers my question, and I yield.
Thank you. Any other questions or comments? Supervisor Kirby?
I just wanted to add one more thing. One of the things that got me obviously thinking about this is because Sharon was requesting more help. And I do want to be clear, Shalom Center has not reached out and said we need more money, but I know they do. I think anybody who is providing food or services to the community right now needs some help. So obviously I support this.
Well, we have had somebody come to the county board and ask for help
Yes.
for the Shalom Center.
Yeah.
So there are people asking,
Mhm.
and I think to help people is part of what we do as supervisors. So I'll be supporting it, but, any other questions or comments? Seeing none, all those in favor?
Aye.
Aye. Any opposed? That passes. Thank you. Now we'll Now we will take a motion now that it's been amended on the budget as amended. Any questions or comments on that? All those in favor? Aye. Any opposed? Okay, that passes as amended.
Okay, the next section we have is the central services section. And this, houses our building, so the building gets charged out to our division. And then it's also the company-wide mail services. You guys have the updated ones that says on here, the contractor insurance cost, but that should say postage. So we do have an increase in the budget of 20,000 for postage costs, just based off of projections. And then we do have a 3% provider increase. So the full increase for this section is $22,368 or 8.5%.
Move to approve.
Second. Been moved by Supervisor Kirby, seconded by Supervisor Kirsten. Any questions or comments? That was a good postage. All right. Seeing none, all those in favor? Aye. Any opposed? That passes. Thank you.
The next division is the Office of the Medical Examiner on page 11. For this division, we are looking for a levy decrease of just under 18,000 or 2.86%. The biggest item in here to talk about is the autopsies. So we did increase the budgeted autopsies from 130 to 136. We do contract those out to Milwaukee, and we will see a fee increase from $1,800 per autopsy to $1,850 per autopsy. And that would be it for medical examiner. Any questions?
It's been moved by Supervisor Nudo, seconded by Supervisor Kirsten. How many are we looking at autopsies over the last 3 years? Do we know?
So the 136 is our 5-year average. I don't know.
It's our 5-year average.
Mhm.
Okay, that's even better than my 3. Okay, all right, thank you.
Sure.
Any other questions or comments? Seeing none, all those in favor?
Aye.
Any opposed? That passes. Thank you.
Page 12 is our Division of Veteran Services. For this division, we are looking for a levy increase of 17,000 or 3.3%. Most of that is in staff recruitment. We also have the building rent increase of 16,000. Any questions on veteran services?
It's been moved by Supervisor Kirsten, seconded by Supervisor Kirby. How are we as far as the amount of funds that we distribute to the community and to the veterans? Are we doing well with the numbers there?
That continues to go up every year. I think what I heard from last year was close to 130 million, I believe, is what Jennifer reported back from the state. So yeah,
Okay.
that number has increased year after year.
Okay. So it's a concern of mine. Okay. Seeing no other questions or comments, all those in favor?
Aye.
Any opposed? That passes. Thank you.
Okay, the next division is the Division of Health Services on page 13. For this division, we are looking for a levy increase of just under 270,000 or 13.2%. We have a reduction of a 0.6 FTE. It was a removal of a defunded nurse. We have a reclass of a population health manager, E11, to a deputy director of health services, E13, and with the deputy director defunded. We have a reclass of the administrative assistant senior to the HUD project coordinator, an E7 to an E9, and a reclass of the health supervisor, E10, to the grant development communications manager, E10. We do have some funding changes. The public health infrastructure grant that we received, we will draw down all the funding in 2026. So that's a reduction of 187,000. And the SAMHSA grant that we had, that has ended as well. That ended in September. So that's a reduction of 480,000. The other item in here, we have the city contribution that's being phased out, so that's 100,000 increase to the levy. And then the building rent was an increase of 165,000. This budget was approved unanimously by the Board of Health on October 14th. Any
It's been
questions?
moved by Supervisor Nudo, seconded by Supervisor Gearston. Questions or comments? This seems like a bigger hit to the building rental. How, do we have that allocated per? How is that moving forward to the new space?
It's based off square footage, so whatever square footage they took, it may be an increase, well, I think mostly everybody's an increase from our building, we're kind of outgrowing our building. And then the square footage cost per square footage is quite a bit higher.
Okay. Julia, Supervisor Robinson.
The lab space also gets put into Harvard Health. And so all the lab for all the new equipment that we're gonna be doing, and keep in mind that once we get the new spectrometer thing.
What?
The thing.
The mass spectrometer, like from NCIS? Yeah.
Buying last year, once that is hooked up, that will end up being a revenue source. So it's looking like it's gonna be a little bit of time before that gets all working and, you know, but eventually that will be a revenue source in addition to the initial outlay of extra money.
That's very good. Thank you for the information. What's the increase in fixed charges? What? In my budget book on page 223. Goes from 431 to 559. Huh?
It's a building rent.
Building rent.
That's a building rent? Fixed charges, is that what that is? Okay. All right, you can stop looking, Barney. Answered.
It is the building rent.
Okay, thank you. Barney, you were right. What do you know, Barney? You were right.
Sometime I'd be there.
Any questions or comments? All those in favor?
Aye.
Any opposed? That passes. Thank you.
The next division is our Division of Aging and Disability Services on page 14. For this division, we are looking for an increase in levy of 103,000 or 12.3%. We have some funding changes, so most of that is in the funding changes, an increase of 103,000. We have decreased our projected Medicaid funding based on actuals going on right now of 151,000. We have started a new revenue source, targeted case management on the adult protective services we're already doing. So we have that in there for 20,000. And they had an independent living support program that ended in June. So that's a reduction in revenue and expense of 145,000. The other thing we've done in here, they have some trust balances that we are not budgeting. We're just going to be carrying over of just over $500,000. And their building rent increase is 46,000. This budget was approved unanimously by the Commission on Aging and Disability on October 13th.
Supervisor Nudo?
Move to approve.
So moved by Supervisor Nudo, seconded by Supervisor Geertzten. So I tried to pick up as you were doing it from here, comparing it to my book, and on page 190, I've got like a $750,000 drop in revenue. Am I reading that correctly?
Yes,
$757,681.32.
yes. So,
Added the 32 cents I like, but
145,000 is the independent living program that's going away.
Okay.
So it's a reduction in expense and revenue.
all right,
And then the trust balances of the 500,000 is a reduction in expense and revenue.
okay,
So we're gonna carry those over. It'll be on the balance sheet
Okay,
instead of budgeting
okay,
it
I
every
get
year.
it, okay, all right. All right, that's just about it. Okay, thank you.
Mhm.
Any other questions or concerns? Seeing none, all those in favor?
Aye.
Any opposed? That passes, thank you.
The next division is our Division of Behavioral Health Services. For this division, we are looking for a levy decrease of 926,000 or 20.92%. We do have the reduction of an administrative assistant of 1.0. We do have an increase, 1.0 for the embedded social worker with Pleasant Prairie. And we have additional 1.0 for Vital Strategies grant that has a 50% match out of the opioid funds. The placements for this division are projecting lower. And we did decrease this budget 770,000 for placements. The other new item in here, she did remove the comprehensive alcohol and drug treatment program. So you'll see a reduction of revenue, 109,000, and a reduction of expense, 477,000. We did increase, a bucket for the non-Medicaid eligible behavioral health services for 200,000. And that's meant to cover CCS and CSP recipients who are not on Medicaid or not eligible for Medicaid. And that's mostly everything on here. Oh, their building rents went up 18,000.
Supervisor Nudo,
Move to approve.
been moved by Supervisor Nudo, seconded by Supervisor Greenspan. Any questions or comments? So I heard $700,000 reduction in placements. You know how nervous I get when we reduce those numbers? I mean, Dave, you were back when I had my
Yeah.
first melt breakdown, when all of a sudden we had like $750,000 with two placements and just bombed the budget at the last minute. I just get nervous so why don't you walk me through how you were able to, in your mind, come up with reducing that 700,000?
So right now, placements are projected to be, $1 million under budget, and DCFS is 2 million under budget, so mostly it's because of our
Historical trend.
projections. Yeah.
Okay, all right.
The page 16 shows the placements and where we are looking for, where the decreases are coming from. So the first line, the state institutes, is a decrease of 656,000. And the rate is staying the same, but the days of care we're projecting to be a lot lower. So we went from 2,050 in 2025, and we're projecting for 2026 a need of 1,370. Lake Behavioral, those days of care we have increased. So we increased from 290 to 476. And the rate pretty much remained the same on that one. And then our residential facilities, we reduced based on where we are actually paying, because there's a blended rate depending on which facility they're at. But we did also increase the rate with a 3% increase.
So we're able to cut the overall number because it's cheaper to take these people to Lake. And see, I knew that would happen at that Lake Behavioral. Okay, that makes me feel good. So, I mean, that's why I'm seeing the number jump up of people going and using that service right there from, what did you say? 290 to 476 in days of care. So,
Yeah.
that's good. Good job with that. Thank you. Do we have a motion?
Yeah.
All right, see, I'm getting sidetracked. My mind gets foggy. Getting foggy. I'm getting foggy. All right. Any other questions or comments? Seeing none, all those in favor?
Aye.
Any opposed? That passes. Thank you. Supervisor Nudo?
Yeah, before we, sure, I think the finish was last one tonight, right?
Oh, I was just getting rolling. I don't know. I mean,
Well, if you want it.
yeah,
Anyway,
yes.
Before we adjourn, I just want to make a comment on the human services budget. I really can say that many years that I've been into the budget. I think this was the best budget we had. Yeah. And also I would say, people did. Thank you to Brookside for the great job in being able to contribute, give us a gift. As Cleveland. How again, on the $500,000, which you helped to reduce the levy from about $3.75. I think it's all the staff there, everybody there, and I think the board of should be commended for the job.
You have to throw that in there, right?
Oh, not because I'm part of the board.
Oh, no.
You know, it just happened to be that way. Again, thank you.
So I just want to say something on human services. This is the leanest human services budget I've seen in 18 years. So I hope that we have not cut any programs that are necessary because I didn't see the initial to the final. And I'm hoping that everybody understands there's not a lot of room moving forward to have the big money coming from human services to other areas of the county. Just so I'm just getting that on the owl here. So we're all aware of that, you know, great job with the budgeting, great job with the work you guys do. So, thank you very much.
Thank you.
With that, it's been moved by Supervisor Brookhouse, seconded by Vice Chair Gaschke to adjourn. All those in favor?
Aye.
Any opposed?
No,